Welcome to Love from Leisha. For an extra dose of love in your day, click subscribe and the bell to be notified when new videos go live weekly. Today we'll be talking about how to stay cool and calm more often. I used to be very high-strung, tense a lot of the time, tightly wound, uptight, intense, and that was just who I was, taking great care of each thing that I did, doing it with detail, with precision, with accuracy, and being very fixed on things need to be a certain way, and being that hyperachiever of trying to get things done, pushing myself on the verge of being super stressed or even having a meltdown or a breakdown. And I figured, hey, it's not great. This stress can be a lot to deal with, for me and for others, but I'm just a type A person. There are type A, there are type B. That's who I am, that's who I'm gonna be, and there are good things about that because I get a lot done. I'm on the go, I've got lots of energy, I do things well, I'm successful. So there was all of that where I just felt it came with the territory of who I was. At the same time, I look at people who could be typed as type B, cool and calm. They're the ones in commercials that have a baby and they're just like being so loving and soothing with the baby, or things can be going crazy all around them and they're just coasting through life, gliding, nothing's phasing them, and they've just got it all together. And I figured, well, a lot of that is just fictitious. It's what we see in the movies and in commercials and that kind of thing because that's what people want, but that's not really the way that people are. And then I discovered that there could be a way for me to still be all the things that I love about myself, being very conscientious and having that attention to detail, caring about what I do, being ambitious, being a high achiever without taking it to the extreme. And when I don't take it to the extreme, then I don't have as much of that stress. In fact, I perform even better. I do even better because there's less that has to be just right. I'm able to differentiate what has to be just right and what is okay. And I'm also able to be more calm and therefore more clear-headed and focused, and therefore my productivity goes up. So you might ask, well, how do you shift from being type A to more type B? It is easier said than done. You can't just say, you know what, I'm just going to let things go, not sweat the small stuff. I tried that too. And it would work mentally, but emotionally, I would still be so riled up and tense and uptight. Even though I'm thinking, let it go, everything's going to be fine, I would still feel this tension in my body. In my work as a success coach for high-achieving millennials, I also work on myself. And I came across a program called Positive Intelligence run by Shirzad Chamine, who has a New York Times best-selling book, is a Stanford lecturer, and has taught his program to thousands of people with incredible results. I am not here to promote that program, even though I'm very excited about it. I'm here to tell you that that was actually the turning point for me, was that particular program, because it taught me how to strengthen the 3 core muscles of mental fitness, which actually shifts the energy from the left side of the brain to the right side of the brain. The more that mental fitness is strengthened, with the rewiring that happens, then there is more that happens on a neurological level to actually make the right parts of the brain increase in gray matter that can be seen in an MRI. So there is actually a physiological impact in strengthening mental fitness and doing these mental exercises that are so powerful in creating that shift. We react to stimulus in our environment. Most of the time there was a stimulus and it would go to the left brain, it would go to managing, to fixating, ruminating about it. Things went wrong, I would think about it and wonder about it and hold on to it. And so that was always like left brain. Left brain is anxiety, stress, self-doubt, limiting beliefs. And so stimulus and we left brain. With the mental fitness, it's been stimulus, and then with that practice, with that reinforcement and that strengthening, it begins to become more common for it to actually go to the right brain. Stimulus comes in, and instead of going to the left, it goes to the right more often. Today was an example. I walked into the family room and my kids had decided that they wanted to reorganize. So they took all of their art supplies out and put them all over the floor. The old me would have just been overwhelmed and like, oh my gosh, this is too much. This is a huge mess. Why did you guys put everything out all at once? This is so chaotic. But because there was that stimulus that went to the right instead of the left, I was able to say, okay, this happened. There's nothing that I can do about it. It's already out. And then there's that hope that the kids will put it all back together again. They're trying to reorganize, so there's something to be said for that. And I can also be there to help them if they want help, rather than flipping out on them and creating chaos and compromising the relationship. That's one thing too, is that stronger mental fitness leads to better relationships because we're interacting from that right brain instead of the high-strung, stressed out left brain. There is a lot to be said for who we are, and I'm not saying we should become people other than who we are. I'm saying we take our strengths and we use them to our advantage. We use them to bring out the best of who we are rather than keeping that down because we are just reacting from survival mode, a fight or flight. It's not a stress-based or a fear-based response. It's more positive, curious, compassionate, and patient. So the purpose of the video is to let you know that there is hope. If you find yourself to be stressed and hijacked and triggered more often than you'd like, it doesn't have to be that way. As soon as I had that realization, it was such a great revelation for me. And as soon as I started strengthening my mental fitness and noticing that things that would trigger me in certain ways weren't doing so anymore, it was just a total game changer. I'm more than happy to share more with you. If you'd like, reach out to me in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you about areas in your life where you would like to reduce the stress or anxiety or tensions that are happening and the potential you see for that impacting your life in positive ways. If you like this video, please click like, share, subscribe, click the bell to be notified of upcoming episodes, and for more about me, my website is coachleisha.com. Until next time, with more love from Leisha. Bye!